Hello ladies and gentlemen, guys and ghouls, my name's Kevin and welcome to my channel, The Art of Horror. Today's piece of art I'll be doing on black card while using Derwent colour pencils, while of course talking about the movie The Colour Out of Space. I thoroughly enjoyed this movie and would watch Nicolas Cage milk an alpaca again. I really feel like the director connected with Nicolas Cage's weird side for this one, and thoroughly exploited it, much to my glee and excitement watching the film, as Nick Cage gives a fantastic performance as Nathan Gardner. I'm going to cut to the meat and potatoes of this discussion straight away, such is the title of this video, and I'm going to try my best to explain how this movie ended, as it gets a bit weird towards the end. As on first viewing, I don't think it's plainly obvious what exactly happens towards the end of this film. To understand exactly what happens at the end of this film, I think we need to go back to the beginning of the film. Ward, the hydrologist from Miskatonic University, is there to test the groundwater for this precursor to flooding the entire valley. The Gardners are one of the few residents that still remain in this valley, having not sold out, as they are using the residence they live in to get away from it all, as Teresa Gardner, played by Jolie Richardson, has a form of terminal cancer. Nathan Gardner is doing his best at hobby farming and looking after alpacas. Their 3 children are struggling to adjust to country life. In the early scenes of the movie, while Ward is surveying, he comes across Lavinia Gardner, who we see is practicing magic to help cure her mother's cancer using the Necronomicon. This of course is H.P. Lovecraft's version of the Necronomicon, not the Evil Dead version. This scene, I think, is very important, as not long after she practices this ancient ritual, the weirdly lavender coloured meteorite falls from outer space in their front yard. I do not think this is coincidental at all. We see later on in the movie that the symbology that she uses in the spells matches up with symbols on another planet that Ward actually has visions of later in the movie. Symbols Lavinia has carved upon her own skin are exact matches for a symbol we see on an alien planet that Ward actually has glimpses of through hallucinations. I think the next ritual that Lavinia performs is probably just as pivotal and important for the storyline. She performs a protection spell to protect herself from harm, and I think this is where things get very interesting. Towards the end of the movie, we see this power growing and shooting out of the well as some sort of energy beam, which I think, if went unchecked, would have continued enveloping the entire area. As it envelops Lavinia, I think the protection spell kicks in, as she's not harmed but absorbed by this power and becomes one with it. I don't think this power is good or evil, it's just a power unto its own. And at the point it envelops Lavinia, it absorbs her consciousness, taking in that part of her, which in turn acts as a disturbance and corrupts this colour from outer space, which causes it all to collapse upon itself. So quickly to recap, I think the magic that Lavinia was performing was actually way more powerful than what it first seemed, and came from an extremely ancient source. I think this magic not only created the colour from outer space, but also destroyed it towards the end of the movie. And here's where things get mighty strange indeed. I don't think Lavinia completely succeeded in destroying the source, as the final scene of the movie, which seems quite innocuous at first, has Ward standing on a structure, smoking a doobie, and could be construed as everything's alright now. But I think things are far from alright, as if you think about it for a minute, he's standing on a damn wall overlooking the newly flooded valley. The sky has a weird purpley lavender hue to it, And while it's only in silhouette form, we see what looks a lot like the praying mantis that was corrupted by this energy earlier on in the film fly by. I think the valley once flooded, which is now the water supply for the entire nearby population, is now corrupted, and is highly suggestive that this corruption could go on to take over the entire planet. I hope this has been helpful to those of you who may have missed some of this. I think some of it, yes, is plainly obvious. It wasn't plainly obvious to me straight away though, as I went away with this film thinking about it, and then it suddenly all hit me at once, and I had an epiphany about what had actually gone down. And like I said, it took a little while for this one to sink in with me. I was scratching my head when I first finished this film, thinking, what the hell just went on? And I had to mull it over in my mind quite a bit before I had a sudden realisation. This has been Kevin for The Art of Horror. Don't forget to hit the like button if you enjoyed this video. Please say hey and leave a comment down below. I would love to hear any suggestions you have for future videos or artwork you'd like to see me do. I hope you're all safe and well in these strange times. Until next time, it's goodbye from me.
Rate, comment, subscribe.